What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who ranking video. Today I'm going to be ranking every episode 10 from series 1 to 12. Now this is a pretty big episode for this because for series 11 and 12 this is the final ranking video. 11 and 12 only have 10 episodes, so this is the finale for both those series. I will be carrying on with episodes 11, 12 and 13 for the other series. Yeah, this is the last one for episodes for series 11 and 12, so should be interesting to see where these place. So yeah, as usual, this is my opinion, please respect it. I'd love to see how you would rank these episodes down below. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Number 12. In the Forest of the Night from series 8. Now this is a pretty downright bad episode in my opinion, one of the worst in the new series. In the Forest of the Night is essentially about trees kind of taking over the world, but in the end they're not. They're actually saving the world from kind of a solar storm or something like that, or I think it's like a sunstorm, I don't know. The sun kind of expands and gets really hot, and basically the trees protect the earth. And it's a bit weird because there's not really a villain throughout this whole story. The tiger, I guess, is the closest thing that comes to a villain, which is just stupid, and the fact that Danny Pink just kind of wafts it off is really stupid. There's a bunch of child actors who are terrible in this. Altogether, this episode is just really boring. And then, oh god, the end where the little girl's sister appears in a bush. Oh god, it was so cringy and so ridiculous. This episode, honestly, is terrible. Number 11. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS from Series 7. Now, here's an episode that had a lot of potential and was a really interesting concept, but for me, didn't really work at all. I think this one was a big flop. So basically, the TARDIS gets taken by kind of a ship in this spaceship that's kind of collecting junk, and it collects the TARDIS. Clara gets stuck inside the TARDIS, and basically the Doctor and the people on the ship go in to save her, and it's a rescue mission for Clara. But inside there you've got these stupid monsters which turn out to be the two brothers that kind of meld together, and it's a bit weird in the core of the TARDIS. It's just a bit strange. We get to see different parts of the TARDIS, but that's really the only thing I like about this episode. The fact that Clara figures out the Doctor's name and stuff in this one, I think she forgets it afterwards, but I don't really like that either. When they go into the engine room and it's just a bunch of floating parts, I think it just looks stupid. And yeah, this episode for me it had a hell of a lot of potential, but really didn't do it for me at all. Number 10. Love and Monsters from Series 2. So this is one that's quite notorious for being pretty crap. Honestly, I don't hate it as much as some people do. I find it interesting. I think the end with where Elton's got his girlfriend Ursula in the slab is a little bit on the nose, shall we say, that whole thing going on there. We don't even want to talk about it. But other than that, this episode, honestly, I don't think it's terrible. It's very different. The Doctor's not really in this one at all. He kind of appears at the end, but it's an episode all about trying to find the Doctor. And I think that's an interesting concept. It's almost looking at this, it's almost an episode about a fan of the Doctor. And yeah, having Peter Kay playing the Absorbaloff, although a little bit too silly. I mean, Peter Kay's funny, he's a comedian. I think the Absorbaloff's a bit crap. But yeah, that was interesting, and honestly, I don't think this episode's as terrible as people say. It's something a little bit different. Maybe it didn't quite work how they planned, and the end was just a bit gross, with what they did with Elton and his girlfriend. But yeah, I don't think it's awful. Number 9. The Battle of Ransall Avkolos from Series 11. So this is the Series 11 finale, and I mean, for a finale, yeah, it really didn't feel that big, and I think that's the main issue with it. Honestly, on the whole, if this was kind of just a mid-series episode, I think it would actually be fairly decent, especially for Series 11, but because it is a finale, I just don't think it really works. Now, some people that defend Series 11 have said that it's a little bit more like a classic series finale. You know, classic series finales were never really big finales. And, you know, I can see that as well, but just kind of the format we've had with New Who, that's not really how it works and how it runs anymore. So, yeah, Avkolos, honestly, was not the biggest exciting finale, but as a natural episode, I don't think it's terrible. You've got Tim Shah back again, who's fine. I actually, from what I remember, think he's actually not as good here as he was in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. But yeah, I'm not going to say the Battle of Ransall Avkolos is terrible. It's got a terrible name, but yeah, it's not what a finale should be. Number 8. The Eaters of Light from Series 10. Now this is one of the more average to weak stories from Series 10, a pretty decent series on the whole. I actually remember enjoying this one a little bit more last time I watched it. It's okay, it's really just kind of your average story. It's set in Scotland, I believe, or I can't remember now, but yeah, I think it is, because there's Scottish people, and there's like the Romans, and they're kind of going head to head with each other, and then there's this creature that kind of comes out of a portal thing, which is a bit weird. And honestly, throughout most of this episode, it's a bit meh. There's not really particularly any memorable characters. There's some funny, nice moments with Nardole and the Doctor, though. You know how Nardole like paints his face and everything. I think he's pretty good in this one. Bill has some alright stuff too. She kind of gets stuck with one of the other groups, from what I remember. And yeah, altogether, this one, it's just kind of average. I do quite like the end though, how they both kind of join together and go into the portal to defend this creature. In the end, I do quite like that as an end, how they work together. Other than that though, it's a pretty average story. Number 7. The Girl Who Waited from Series 6. Now this is an interesting one. Some people really praise this episode, and I like it. It's probably like a, I don't know, maybe a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 for me. There's something that I'm not as big of a fan of. I don't know. I like how we've got Karen Gillan playing old Amy and, you know, the normal aged Amy. And I think she plays both those characters really well. Rory as well in this story especially. Honestly, I think in some ways I like Rory more than I like Amy in this story. The way he plays, you know, having to juggle between these two between these two Amys. He plays it really well. He gets angry at the Doctor. I love Arthur Doville's performance in this one. I do find it a little bit annoying at the end how he kind of has a go at the Doctor about, oh, we can't have both Amys, but I mean, let's be real, mate. How are you going to survive with two Amys? I mean, come on. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff here, but I don't know. I don't quite get it on a level that some people do, but it's definitely a good story. Number 6. The Timeless Children from Series 12. So, our Series 12 finale, some people might think that I've got this a little bit higher than they would expect. You know why though? Do you know why? Because, as much as I absolutely hate the Timeless Child thing, which is the main part of this story, I don't like how the Doctor is the Timeless Child. I think it completely ruins the character. We didn't need all this backstory and lore, and the fact that she's now not from Gallifrey at all, it just completely changes everything, and I don't like it. However, I did enjoy this episode. I enjoyed this episode because, first of all, the Master was amazing. The Cybermen being turned into these kind of cyber Time Lords, cyber masters, they were great. I really liked them. I mean, they were a bit underused here, but I quite liked them as a design and with what they did get used for. And I liked, as much as I hated the Timeless Child thing, there was something that I just liked about how it came together and how the Master showed the Doctor all these things. And honestly, this is like the best paced and kind of best round together story in the Chris Chibnall era so far. It's just a shame that the main plot point is something that I really don't agree with. Number 5. Face the Raven from Series 9. So here's an episode which I try not to kind of put it down because of what happens later on in Hellbent, but thinking of this episode on its own and thinking that this could have been the end for Clara, I like this episode. I think this was a good way for Clara to go. She died in this episode because she became too much like the Doctor. She took things into her own hands, she went too far, she didn't know what she was doing, and that got her killed. And that is exactly how Clara should have died. None of this bringing her back in bloody Hellbent and having her fly off in the universe. No, we don't want any of that. This is how Clara should have died. Throughout her 2.5 series that she was in the role as the companion, she was basically trying to be the Doctor. She was going too far and thinking that she was the Doctor. And in this episode, that's what gets her killed. And I think that's a perfect way for her to die. I think that's a perfect way for her to leave the show. So yeah, I really enjoy this episode because of that. Hellbent, unfortunately, destroys all that, but I don't let Face the Raven down because of that. Number 4. Midnight from Series 4. Now, I've actually got this one a little bit higher than I originally had it, because I've always said with this episode, I've said it before on the channel, I don't quite hold this one on the high horse that some people do. I'm a big fan of the RTD era, I'm a massive fan of Series 4, it's my favourite series of the show, but Midnight for me has never been that top tier story. However, the more and more I watch it, the more I think, you know what, I actually do really appreciate what they've done with this episode. My main issue with this is the fact that the characters are annoying. They really are annoying. But the more I watch it, the more I think they're supposed to be annoying. That's the whole point. It's the whole point of the story. This is what humans act like in a situation like this. And that's made me think, you know what? This episode is bloody brilliant. I really have not been giving this episode the attention that it deserves. I used to rate this at like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I still don't think I give it a 10, but it's like a 9.5 out of 10 now. Midnight is a story that I enjoy more every time I watch it. Number 3. Vincent and the Doctor from Series 5. Now this is probably my favourite 11th Doctor story. I love Vincent and the Doctor. Yes, the monster isn't that great, but you know what? It's good enough. And in a story like this that isn't really focused on the monster, it's focused on the emotional and the just kind of it's focused on the character of Vincent van Gogh. And it portrays him really well. He's got a Scottish accent, which is a bit strange. I don't think he really did. He was from like the Netherlands or something, wasn't he? Yeah, I just think the guy that plays him really plays him very, very well. He's just a very interesting character. I love the emotional kind of thing with it, and I love the message at the end and the speech. And oh my god, the moment where the Doctor brings Vincent to the art gallery is one of the best scenes in Doctor Who, period. I love this episode. The monster, although not amazing, works in this way. It works for this episode. So yeah, for me, Vincent and the Doctor is brilliant. Number 2. Blink from Series 3. Now this is a brilliant episode. It's known as a brilliant episode for good reason. It's the introduction to the Weeping Angels, the first time we ever see them, and the best time we see them, I think. It doesn't really feature the Doctor a whole lot. I mean, you've got him on the screen, that's kind of the main thing there. So you've got him there, but in physical form, you don't really have him a whole lot. We see him a little bit at the end, and we see him with the cop, the police officer. But other than that, don't see a lot of the Doctor and Martha in this one, other than kind of on the DVD. But bloody hell, Sally Sparrow, if anyone should have become a companion, it's Sally Sparrow. She's brilliant, she's great in this. I love the other guy as well, he's also awesome. And just the Weeping Angels are terrifying. The music score in this one is amazing by Murray Gold. One of the best music scores of an episode, I think. And yeah, altogether, Blink is fantastic. It's not the number 1 for this one, but it was very, very close. Number 1. The Doctor Dances from Series 1. So this is the second part of the Empty Child Doctor Dances 2-parter with the Empty Child. And yeah, the Doctor Dances is just as good, if not better than the first part. I love the start of the episode where we're figuring out at the end of the first part, we're like, how are they going to get out of this situation? And he basically just says, go to your room. And I just love that. And I love how before the credits roll, the Doctor's like, whew, I'm glad that worked. Those would have been terrible last words. Brilliant stuff. You've got the whole banana thing in this. Bananas are good. Amazing. Captain Jack is great in this. The chemistry between him and the Doctor really goes well here. It blossoms and it's fantastic. You've got the whole everybody lives thing, which is another one of the greatest moments in Doctor Who. Actually, nobody really died in this episode, and it's just so good. It's such a good feeling story, but also a terrifying story with all the gas mask kids. Yeah, just brilliant revelation with the kid being whatever name's son. That was pretty cool as well. Maybe a little bit predictable, but yeah, altogether, this one's amazing. So there we have it. That's my ranking of every episode 10 from series 1 to 12. The next ranking video will be every episode 11, but only from series 1 to 10, because 11 and 12 no longer have any more episodes. So please look for that in the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Comment down below your ranking of these episodes. Please respect everybody else's in the comments below. Also, follow me on Twitter, link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.